Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. We're a bit delayed because of all the construction here in West Hartford and the traffic jams. So in about 5 minutes, we'll get started. So just sort of find your seats, mosey on over, and find an open chair. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'd like to welcome you to the Class of 2025 Military Inductee Ceremony. My name is Dr. Noell. I'm a member of the American Legion Hayes Village Post 96 here in West Hartford. I'm a retired Army officer with 25 years, and I'm honored to be your Master of Ceremonies tonight as we honor the outstanding young men and women who have decided to join the armed forces. They are joined by their parents and their family who have helped the seniors develop the character and the integrity to make such a momentous decision this early in their young lives. We congratulate all of you, the seniors and the families, on your decision to serve your country. We are joined tonight by Major General Francis Ivan, the Adjutant General of the Connecticut National Guard, John DeBishop, State American Legion Commander, Maureen Brummett, who is the Superintendent of Schools of Newington. I saw Sherry Cantor, the Mayor of West Hartford here. There you are. Thank you, Sherry. And there's a number of people from the Veterans Affairs Commission here in West Hartford, and also the Board of Education, as well as principals, headmasters, and guidance counselors from the schools where the seniors were taught over the last 4 years. At this time, I'd like everyone to stand for the posting of the colors by the American Legion Post 96 Color Guard. And please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. Color Guard, post colors. Conard Solo Choir will now sing the national anthem. Thank you, Conard Choir. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Color Guard. Order. Arms. At this time, Jamie Rowan will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jamie. Color Guard. Right shoulder, arms. Left face. Post. Monsignor James Canane, Colonel, United States Army, retired, will now give the invocation.
Before the invocation, I want to congratulate and thank the 25 honorees tonight for the wonderful decision they have made. First of all, a very good decision in their personal lives. It opens up for them a lot of possibilities that they'll be grateful for in the future. Also, thank them for making a decision which is a wonderful plus for our country and for the military. You will not regret any of that at all, and again, a hearty thanks to all of you. I can't end there. We have to thank everybody who made that wonderful decision possible, and especially the parents, all of your parents, your friends, your relatives, teachers, people who supported you. You had an awful lot of great people in the past helping you to succeed and to make a good decision. And it's a reminder for all of us, I think. The vast majority of people are good. The ones who cause so much trouble are the minority, and they get an awful lot of attention. And with that attention, we can forget all the great people and the sacrifices and the fidelity of so many wonderful people that you meet every day in your daily lives. So keep that in mind too. In the future, in the military, you're also going to meet a lot of great people. Great people. And among the great people you're going to meet is somebody referred to often as the drill sergeant, okay? Believe it or not, that drill sergeant is your best friend. He or she and your mother are your biggest fans. They are the ones who want you to succeed most of all of them together. One final point in the military, and I'm sure you're very much aware of this, problem in our society, drug addiction. I know a lot of drug addicts. I don't know any one of them who ever said way back, when I grow up, I want to be a drug addict. I've never met anybody who said that. No. What happens? It happens with beginning use, an easy jump to the next level, abuse, and then into the final horrible section, addiction. And there's no coming back from that. Once that sets in, it's good, it's permanent. And we know that so many wonderful lives, quite frankly, have been ruined by drugs. The overuse of drugs and the addiction to drugs. So keep that in mind, please. Don't let an enemy like that ruin a wonderful future for you. If you have any friends who are encouraging you to use drugs, they're not your friends. That's not good advice at all. Many of the people who are in the throes of addiction right now listen to that bad advice and they're suffering for it. So a realistic reminder, try to keep that out of your lives, especially for yourselves and for everyone and for all those around. I'd like to start the benediction tonight as a prayer by a German clergyman named Reinhold Niebuhr, who was put to death in one of the prison camps of Adolf Hitler. And this was his prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking this imperfect and sinful world as it really is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your holy will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Thank you, Reverend Niebuhr. Go in peace now, enjoy the meal, and many, many happy years in the future.
Thank you, Monsignor. Please be seated. Captain James Calley, the commander of the American Legion, Hayes Village, Post 96, will now give his opening remarks.
Good evening, everybody. My remarks are going to be very brief. On behalf of Post 96, welcome and thank you for coming. We're delighted to see you here. Good night.
This is the 10th year that the American Legion has sponsored this ceremony, and it would not be possible without the support of the Office of the Superintendent of Schools of West Hartford. We're very grateful to Paul Vacinis, Kristen Banning, and Lori Hamill for all their hard work. At this time, Command Sergeant Major Paul Vacinis, Superintendent of Schools here at West Hartford, will make his opening remarks.
Thanks. I wish I could be as brief as Jim. But Major General Levon, Lieutenant Colonel Allen, Commander DeBishop, Commander Calley, Commander Zimmerman, Madam Mayor, members of our Board of Education, heads of school and educational leaders, members of the Hayes Village Post 96 American Legion, and absolutely most importantly, members of the graduating class of 2025, family, and invited guests. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you to the 2025 Military Inductee Ceremony. As was stated, my name is Paul Vacinis, and I am here tonight representing West Hartford Public Schools as its superintendent, but moreover, I am honored to be present in uniform to represent not only the Connecticut Army National Guard, but also the less than 1% of Americans who have answered the call and stand forth in a commitment to service in our armed forces. President Ronald Reagan has famously said, "Freedom is a fragile thing. It is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not in our inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it only comes once to a people." That quote provides inspiration for our men and women in the armed forces, underscoring the noble nature and critical importance of the work undertaken in service to our freedoms. I think of that quote and I'm reminded of the motto of the United States Army: "This will defend." This will defend, a battle cry dating back to the Revolutionary War. It was first adopted by the War Office of the Continental Army in 1778. It references a soldier's commitment to the defense of an ideal of freedom and a government of the people and for the people, a notion birthed by our founding fathers and earned by a volunteer force of citizen soldiers who sacrificed for the greater good of their country, their neighbors, and their countrymen. This will defend. The "this" refers to our country, our Constitution, and the ideals of freedom and democracy, ideals that we fight for, that we sacrifice, ideals that as a country may oftentimes not yet be realized, but it is the pursuit of these ideals that separates America from any other country in the world in recent history. This will defend. The "we" is significant. We, and not I, underscores the fundamental belief that cuts across all branches in teamwork and selfless service. You are now part of that "we," part of us, part of a family whose bonds are created through shared experience, shared sacrifice, and shared commitment to service above self. This will defend. The defense of our freedoms and the constancy of our need to defend and protect our liberties is a reminder of our duty as soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, to defend our freedoms and preserve the peace. Freedom is a fragile thing. This will defend. I want to welcome you to the profession of arms. I want to thank you for your choice to stand forth in a commitment to the preservation of our freedoms. Parents, families, you have much to be proud of. Graduates, you have much to live up to, but together, this will defend. Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to have Cadet Hugh Baldwin come up and give us some reflections of a recent graduate. He's a 2022 graduate of Conard High School. He sat right where you were a few years ago, and he is now going to be a senior at West Point. Hugh?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here at this event with all you wonderful young men and women who've stepped up and answered the call to serve. and all the family, friends, and supporters who are right here with you, encouraging and guiding you on your paths. My name is Hugh Baldwin. I graduated Conard High School in 2022, and I'm a cadet going to my fourth and hopefully final year at the United States Military Academy. Afterwards, I hope to graduate and serve in either the military intelligence or infantry branches. But whatever branch you serve in, or MOS you choose, you will be contributing to the United States military, to the greatest team on the planet, and the most powerful military that the world has ever known. And that's no easy task. You will have both the most challenging and the most rewarding days of your life. You will probably meet some of the biggest idiots and come to know them as your best friends a few months later. And you will have the most awesome, exciting times firing machine guns or jumping out of planes, but also the most boring, weeding the front lawn or sweeping up the rain. You will have some of the worst days of your life. You'll be laying there in the woods, pulling security, you'll be freezing your tail off in the rain, and all that you have to look forward to is a jalapeno beef patty MRE. But when you try to think back, those days will not be the ones that you'll remember, or at least not in the same manner in which you experienced them. And I'm no old man up here reminiscing about my past days. I was in your seats simply 3 years ago. But even since then, I've experienced and learned many things. This past semester, I was abroad in Germany, and it was a nice time and all, but what surprised me most is how short a time it took for me to miss being back here in the States. I somehow managed to forget all of the rules that my friends and I love to complain about, all of the early mornings, the oily face paint that you have to put on, and the watery scrambled eggs. The days and the things that you'll remember are those great moments where the tough or not with your friends, when you get to the top of the hill on that ruck, or you split that pack of MRE M&Ms in the rain, or you see them face plant during a bounding drill out in the field. Every one of you will face extreme challenges. You will need to learn and adapt like you have never done before. But I behoove each and every one of you that you must stay positive. It's the most important thing to have a positive attitude. And when I say be positive, I don't mean that I expect you to be out there 24/7, 365 with a giant grin on your face. There's a time and a place for sadness, frustration, anger, and all those other emotions. But at the end of each day, when you're going to sleep, know that you should be proud of what you're doing. Know that what you're doing makes a difference, and be thankful that you have the biggest and best team at your back. Help others who need help, and when you run into cynical people, because you will, don't feed into their energies, or worse, let yourself be dragged into their pity parties. Help pull them up from that abyss with a positive attitude, a can-do spirit, and a smile on your face. Whether you go out there and you serve 2 or 20 years, nobody can ever take away from you the fact that you, out of everybody, stepped up to serve your nation and make your difference. Thank you all very much for your time, and I wish you all the best of luck. I know that you will go out there and you'll do great things. And lastly, my remarks wouldn't be finished if I didn't let you know all, go Army and beat Navy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cadet Baldwin. West Point has certainly changed. Hugh just spent a semester abroad in Munich, Germany, 5 blocks from the Hofbrauhaus. When I was graduated from West Point in 1970, I rarely left post over the whole 4 years. But thank you very much, Hugh. At this time, we are going to hear from the Conard Solo Choir. They're going to provide a musical interlude. This is one of the highlights of the evening.
Good evening. I'm Sam, the director of Hartford High School Solo Choir. We'll be performing 2 numbers for you, the first of which is called The Awakening by Joseph Martin, and we'll finish with Maybe All Fine Home. A text we hope really resonates with our grad.
Thank you so much, Connor Solo Choir. That sounded like a college glee club there, not a high school. You folks are great. So at this time, we'll start our meal. We're going to start with the front row here. It'll be table 1, table 2, 3, and then 4. And then we'll go the second row, third. So if you would go, please start the meal. And then this table will go second. folks that have not discovered the cake and the coffee are against the back wall. So please avail yourself of dessert, and then make your way back to your seats. We're gonna continue the program in a few minutes, okay? All right, we're going to continue with our program. I hope you enjoyed your meal, so I'm going to ask you to please find your seats. At this time, I'm going to introduce our featured speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Seth Allen. Colonel Allen was raised in a military family in Fairfax, Virginia. He's a graduate of the University of South Carolina. He has a master's degree in business from Webster University. And he received his commission through Officer Candidate School at Fort Benning, Georgia. Then he chose field artillery as his branch. He has served in numerous positions throughout the United States and also throughout the world. He has served in Kuwait, Jordan, Afghanistan, and Iraq. He has attended many military schools to include Airborne School, Ranger School, Command and General Staff School at Fort Leavenworth, and he's garnered many awards to include the Bronze Star with 2 Oak Leaf clusters, Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Oak Leaf clusters. He is currently serving as a professor of military science at the University of Connecticut and oversees the Army ROTC program at both UConn and at Yale. He lives here in West Hartford with his wife Megan and their son Soren. Please welcome Colonel Allen.
I don't want to bound up here like the superintendent did earlier. I was pretty impressed by that. So Major General Yvonne, Mr. John DeBishop, Superintendent Paul Vicinis, Mayor Cantor, Dr. Lorna Thomas, I'm going to mess it up, I'm sorry, but Farcarison, and to the principals here in attendance tonight, the commander of the American Legion, Post 96, Captain James Cowley, and to the inductees, families, and friends here tonight, good evening. It's a true honor to stand here before you tonight. I am exceptionally honored to see these young men and women standing here tonight, getting ready to step into the profession of arms. And whether they're heading into the Air Force, the Army, Coast Guard, Navy, Marines, a service academy, or ROTC at a university across the country, you're stepping into something remarkable. And I'll be honest with you, you're about to embark on an adventure, but it's going to be worth it. You'll grow in ways you cannot imagine at this point in time in your life. You'll grow as a leader. You'll learn what resilience actually means. And occasionally, you're going to get a fully paid vacation to somewhere that most people will only see on a globe. Now, for some of you, that vacation is going to involve a poncho, an MRE, and a tent. But it's still free. You know, over here, we just had a trip to Germany. I would have wanted to stay personally, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it. The journey's going to be tough at times. But if you're determined to serve, which I know you are, because you're here tonight, you're going to make a difference. And you're going to find the best version of yourself. And then you also know that you're making the right decision because the support that you have in this room right now is the most important aspect of what you're getting ready to do. Now, for the inductees, I want all of you to stand up. Please, stand up. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. And before I have you sit down, look around the room, look at each other. It's okay. No one's going to bite. Okay, you're good. Now you can sit. I want you all to realize that these are now your brothers and sisters in arms. Of course, you have to get through your training first, but they're your brothers and sisters in arms. They're the ones that you're going to serve alongside, some of which in a few months. And others you may not see for 10 years down the road. When you come home to finally settle back down in West Hartford with a family of your own, swapping stories over coffee at Effie's place. Now, I'm not trying to marry you off just yet. Trust me, your parents don't want that quite yet. But I also want you to think about Memorial Day yesterday. And I'm sure if you were there, or if you celebrated in a different way elsewhere, that it felt a little bit different. And it probably felt a little bit more personal. Because you saw a community, or communities, coming together to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Men and women who believed deeply in what they were doing. And now you are getting ready to join that legacy of service. And you may not have the words to describe why you're getting ready to do what you're doing. And that's okay. Those words are for you to discover. And one day, when the moment's right, you'll know what your why is. And you will be able to share that with others. And your friends are going to ask what cool things you're doing, where you're headed, what military life is like. But be proud of what your answers are. Because they're not asking, or they're asking because they're curious. And they admire what you're doing. They're not the ones who are saying yes, you are. And you're getting ready to step out into that yes. And they're going to brag about you. They're going to say, yeah, my friend's in Italy. Or she just jumped out of a C-130. Or he's cruising the Straits of Gibraltar for the third time, the USS Laboon, which, if you're wondering, is an actual ship. I looked it up. I think it's an Burke-class guided missile destroyer. So when you guys have trivia night, that's a fun fact for you. But when I think about my own career, in which my career is now coming to a close in the next couple of months, I think about the moments that shaped me. And it wasn't the medals, it wasn't the perfect days, it was the hard lessons. One example that came to mind when I was thinking about this was in 2019, I was at a hotel in Rock Island Arsenal, right off the Mississippi River. It was wintertime, and yes, it was freezing. It's the kind of cold that makes you question your life choices. And it really wasn't that cold if you're from Connecticut, but I was out of Mississippi, so it was pretty cold at the time. And I was scheduled to attend a morning PT session with the commanding general, and there was command teams from across the country, from the entire organization. And I happened to be the only major present for my organization. And I was representing our organization from an operational standpoint, but I was getting ready to step into a new role as the brigade executive officer. And those of you that go into the military, you're going to start realizing that those jobs don't always come easy. Well, that morning, something was off, and I realized it was me, because I woke up late. First time in my career, 16 years in, and as I looked out the 7th floor window, I watched the buses drive away. And I realized I had to make a decision. So I didn't throw in the towel. I got dressed, I shaved, and I ran 2 miles in the snow. Slightly uphill, not all the way. But I made it to the base, and I made it there in time for the CG to finish his speech. I mean, it was like the tail end of it. And the Brigade Command Sergeant Major looked at me. He looked me up and down, and he noticed the sweat pouring off my face. And he said to me, he's like, "You ran here, didn't you?" He's like, "I didn't see you on the bus." And that's all he said. He didn't shame me. He didn't need to. He saw that I showed up, and I was there ready to go. And I was fortunate because our team happened to win. That competition, we were competing against 8 other brigade command teams, and I think my boss would have been a little bit upset if we didn't win, but we did. But it wasn't because of me. And what I took away from that lesson is that it was about the teammates. And it's going to be about your teammates, your shipmates, your battle buddies, your Marines, your wingmen. And they're going to rely on you, especially when you enter your training phase. They're going to depend on you being there, being present. But also, make sure you're checking your alarm clock. There's that finicky technology sometimes. But as you begin your journey, carry with you the support from your community, your coaches, your teachers, your families. Because in a few weeks, you're going to graduate, and you're going to head off into the world to complete training, into college, and into service. And I want to thank you for what you're about to do. But enjoy the ride. Stay humble. Stay motivated. And most of all, stay true to the purpose. So good luck, Godspeed, and thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Allen. At this time, we're going to begin the portion of our program where we recognize the young men and women who have made the commitment to serve their country. So I'm going to call each of you up on stage. Right now, will all the presenters please come up on stage? I've met many of you earlier. I'm very, very impressed with this young group of military men and women tonight. Each honoree will receive 3 items here on stage. A special cord to be worn on their graduation gowns signifying their upcoming military service, a military commitment certificate, and an American Legion thank you coin. I'm going to call you in alphabetical order. How's that?
Good feel.
Straighten out. I'll go back. Okay, so Arroyo is number 2. He's not here. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. First one I'd like to have come up is Dominic Amaro from Conard High School. Come on up here, Dominic. Let's give him a big hand. Dominic is going in the United States Army. He's going to ship out for Virginia this summer, and he's going to be an ammunition specialist. He'll probably start his training at Fort Belvoir in Virginia. Come on this end. You folks, when you come up, I'm going to ask you to come up on this side of the stage. And exit that side of the stage. Next up is Zander Boss from Xavier High School in Middletown. Zander is going to spend his summer at the United States Military Academy at West Point, doing what's called Beast Barracks, where he'll live in a tent and sleep wrapped in a poncho out in the woods. I've been there, done that. You guys have done that. Sander had a brother that graduated from West Point 2 years ago. He's now serving in Germany. Next up is going to be Jaden Brainerd from Conard High School. Come on up here, Jaden. Jaden has decided to join the United States Air Force. He's going to ship out for beautiful San Antonio, Texas, and basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, probably the city with the largest population of Air Force personnel in the country. He won't have time to sample the Mexican food in San Antonio, though. Next up is Matthew Castro from Hall High School. Matthew, come on up. Matthew is going to join the United States Marine Corps. Hua. Semper Fi. And he's going to sample the wares of Parris Island, South Carolina. It's beautiful there in the summer. Matthew, you'll love it. Next up is Ian Kayenda. Ian, will you come up from Newington High School? Let's hear it for Newington. Ian is going into the United States Army. He's enlisted. He's going to do his basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the infantry. And after his basic and advanced training, he's going to go to airborne school and jump out of airplanes. So let's hear it for that guy. And next, Leticia Dos Santos. Would you please come up here from Newington High School? Leticia is going to the United States Army Reserves. Having just served 18 years in the Army Reserves, it's a great place to do your service. And next up is her good friend from Newington High School, Isadora Dos Reis. Did I say that properly? And she is also going to the United States Army Reserve, and who knows, she might be stationed right here in South Quaker Lane, where I spent 15 years. And next up is Javier Herrera from Xavier High School. Javier, please come up here. Javier has been accepted to the United States Air Force Academy, and he's going to be what we call a Zoomie at West Point. Colorado Springs is a great place to do your training, and I'm sure he'll enjoy it out there. He just chose the wrong academy, that's all. And next up is another Xavier High School graduate, Ian Hawley. Can you come up here? Ian will also report to West Point in July and become a plebe and experience Beast Barracks along with Zonda. So I hope he enjoys sleeping in a tent, wrapped in a poncho, in the woods. He will get a haircut as his first order of business. He'll be fitted with the uniform, and then they're marched to Trophy Point, where they're sworn into the Army. And every parent thinks they can see their son or daughter. They all look the same. They have no idea. All right, Penelope Humphrey from Newington High School, please come on up. Penelope is going into the United States Army. She has enlisted, and she'll be doing her training. We're not quite sure where she's going to do her training, but she's going into the military police, and I'm going to send her to Fort Leonard Wood. It's also known as Fort Lost in the Woods in Missouri. It's the worst post in the Army. Hopefully she'll go someplace else. Next is a Conard High School student, Sophia Pereira. Sophia is going Army ROTC at the University of Hartford, so she's staying close to home. And next is Donovan Ravenberg from Hall High School. Donovan has decided to join the Connecticut Air National Guard, and give him about 10 years, and he'll be flying that C-130 over the Memorial Day Parade in the near distant future. And next we have Deshaun Richardson from Conard High School. Come on up here, Deshaun. Deshaun has also lost his mind and going to the United States Marines to Parris Island with his friend Master Matthew Castro. South Carolina is great in the summer. Deshaun, you'll enjoy it. And I'm going to have Charles Weidman come up to the stage, Xavier High School grad. Charles is going to West Point Prep School, which is just off the campus at the Military Academy. It's an excellent school. It's my alma mater. I went there after enlisting in the Army at age 17. So this is my man here tonight. He's also an all-state wrestler, and he intends to wrestle for West Point. He's going to spend 1 year at the prep school and then go on to West Point for 4 more years. So he gets 2 plebe years is what he gets. So. That's the next one. Yep. Yeah. And now with Jamie Roman, please come up, Hall High School graduate. Jamie's going to the United States Army, and she is probably going to go to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Once again, South Carolina is great in the summer. You'll enjoy yourself there. Congratulations. Yeah, for some reason I had her on. I have her, yeah. All right, I'm going to thank the presenters for what they did up here. You may return to your seats. Thank you very much. Good job, presenters. At this time, I'm going to ask Ethan Goodman of the West Hartford Board of Education to offer some closing remarks.
Good evening. My name is Ethan Goldman, and I'm on the West Hartford Board of Education. Just as importantly, and I assume the reason I'm up here, is I spent over 20 years in the Army Reserve, National Guard. We finally retired as a major in the U.S. Field Artillery Branch. So another field artillery officer. In addition to my 20 years in the Army, I've had exposure to the military from a completely different perspective, that of being a parent. My oldest son, Todd, enlisted in the Army after college and received his commission as well in field artillery. I'd like to cover 3 topics tonight. I realize everyone wants to leave, but hopefully I'll be short. What I got from my military experience, the difference in experience of being a parent of a child in the military as opposed to being in the military, and why I think what you are doing and what my son did is so critical for the future of our country, and frankly, the future of the world. I will also add this qualifier: as with anything, each person's experience will be extremely different, and so I hope each of you will have an experience that was as meaningful or even better than mine. A large part of it will be a combination of what you make of it, as well as some luck and some circumstances. When I went in the military, it was right after Vietnam. I had no clue what I was getting myself into when I joined the Army, and there was a big difference between the ROTC program at my college and going full-time into the Army. I probably spent the first 2 months of the Army, if not longer, looking over my shoulder. The good news for me was that having gone through that, there was nothing that could intimidate me later in life. Other key takeaways from my Army experience: the honor code. Integrity was extremely important to my family, but the Army Honor Code was an incredibly strong reinforcement to those values and has stayed with me in all aspects of my life. The Army emphasis on taking care of your people while also achieving your mission has also stayed with me throughout my professional life and outside of it. The benefit of coordinating and collaborating when working with others, being willing to look for different ways to do things, and always being willing to find ways to improve and improvise. For me, the experience was incredibly positive, and I hope it will be for you. As with anything, the more effort you put into something, the more likely you are to have a positive experience. As I mentioned, my son joined the Army after graduating from college, and while I was extremely proud of him for serving, I must admit it was a much different experience being a parent of a soldier than serving yourself. Things that would never worry me or even think about in terms of my own participation seem completely different when it's your child. But just as for me, I know the Army was a great experience for him. He learned a lot about himself, his leadership skills, and feeling good about giving back to the country. He received his commission in the field artillery, in his case through OCS. Finally, I just wanted to add what I think is so critical, what you're doing is so critical. If you go back over the last 100 years, the United States military has played the determining and leading role in fighting total terrorism in the world, most notably in the early 40s against the Nazis in Imperial Japan, and after World War II against the Communists in the Soviet Union, where the U.S. military played an extremely critical role in the deterrent. If the U.S. had been unsuccessful or less effective military in either of those wars, the world would have been a much different place than it is today, and not in a good way. Not only does the U.S. military protect the United States, but it plays a key role by providing a military umbrella to many other countries in the world. When I took my officer basic course in the late 70s, the ratios in Europe that really stood out was we were more than 3-to-1 outnumbered by soldiers, planes, tanks, in terms of artillery. We were basically extremely outnumbered. The U.S. strategy was that while U.S. troops in the Germany border would take a hard hit if the fighting started, the caliber of the U.S. troops would enable us to adopt the changes on the battlefield as opposed to the Russian East European troops who they thought would ground to a halt. Interestingly enough, the recent fighting in Ukraine has proved those assumptions to be generally correct. The U.S. military has been successful because it has individuals who are willing to volunteer to serve in the military. In my opinion, the effectiveness and skill set of the members of the U.S. military contribute to what we've had for military success. While there's a difference in terms of the impact between regular military and reserves, each is an important contributor to the success of the U.S. Army, military, and its ability to project strength to our enemies. Each has a critical role in keeping the U.S. safe. Speaking for myself, thank you for volunteering. It does and will make a difference in the future of the country. One thing I'll add is, having grown up during Vietnam and after Vietnam, I couldn't imagine having something like this when I graduated from high school. So I think it's great, and thanks to those who put it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Please stand. Monsignor Canane will be giving the benediction.
Lord God, we thank you for all the blessings you have given us tonight, the wonderful food, the presence of our 25 honorees and their good example to all of us, to all the members of the American Legion for all the work that they have put in to make this evening so memorable for all of us. And especially we ask a special thanksgiving and blessings on all those who have died in the service of our country. Eternal rest granted them, O Lord. May eternal light shine upon them. May their souls and all the souls of the faithful departed, through your mercy, rest in peace. Amen. We are grateful to them especially. Go in peace now. Have a great night, and it was wonderful to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremony for tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We'd like to have all the seniors who we honor tonight come up on the stage for a group picture. So before you head out, come on up here right now. Double time. Report up on stage. I see you don't know what double time means. In the Marine Corps, it's quick time, right?
Turn slightly sideways and